And Barbara Colter are committed to reaching this goal. Love and Happiness has helped thousands over the years through their couples retreats hosted in various cities. Their popular Central Florida TV show, Love and Happiness, has been syndicated in several states. Their best-selling book, Love and Happiness: The Secrets to Creating Winning Relationships, has helped singles and couples alike learn how to build better relationships. It's no surprise that the Colters are in high demand. Relationship subject matter experts featured on talk shows and national radio looking for real relationship talk. The Colters' virtual retreats, social media platforms, Facebook live streams, and relationship masterclasses have put their mission to help 1 million couples in their sights. Dr. Vandy Colter, Ph.D., a certified counselor with presidential status in the American Association of Christian Counselors, has a virtual counseling practice that serves CEOs, pastors, entrepreneurs, individuals, and couples who want their relationship to go from bad to good or good to great. Dr. Vandy has been featured on Fox, CBS, NBC, their national affiliates, and various media for the impact from his virtual counseling as a response to the relational health crisis during the COVID pandemic. Dr. Barbara Colter, real estate investor and serial entrepreneur, complements and contributes to what makes Love and Happiness the perfect blend of real talk and fun. Our motto is no one gets their happily ever after. They create their happily ever after. After the hurt, after the disappointment, you can still be happy. And Love and Happiness is just what you need to have.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so we're gonna
Saturday. Happy Saturday.
Yeah, and maybe say it so they can hear it.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday.
All right. You want to tell them what we're doing today? Because I think it's really cool.
I think you should do it.
All right. So today we're talking about the one thing that you can do to make your relationship last forever. Yeah. Particularly the marriage. The one thing that you can do to make it last forever, and we're really excited about that. What you're gonna get today. It's not the common perspective, but I believe it is the one thing that can help be the glue to all the pieces. So you're gonna need certain pieces to make the relationship last, and that's great. You're gonna need, to obviously have, like same core values, and you need to have, the relationship right. Preferably the faith perspective is first, and all those things. But here's the thing. I think what we're going to talk about today is a real like glue or bond to help pulling all of those things together, and then keeping them together when you kind of communicate, when you don't connect, when you're going through weird times and you're not really liking each other in that particular season. I think it really does help. So before you tell me your thoughts, I just want to switch because sharing is caring. So go ahead.
Sharing is caring, y'all. So share to everyone, like love. But I think when people nowadays, when people find themselves in relationships, they don't have a sober mind or concept of what I want. I just want to be with somebody. I don't want to be by myself. And so they're not even planning to, how can I make my relationship last forever? They just want to, I don't think people can get into the relationship soberly.
Yeah, because you said one of the operative words in the one thing, and it's like, if you want a secret, never tell her, because she will not keep a thing. So I'm like, what are you doing? The whole point is to make sure that folk can track with us by explaining. Lord, y'all get to be in my world. You gotta kind of see what I'm saying. The whole point of today is really to kind of undergird all of the existing good things to make all the good things work together for a good outcome. Okay. Yeah. Now she's all like, I don't know if I should say something because I might let more cat out the bag. So okay, you can say whatever. It's okay, even if you.
But what I'm saying is, I find when I talk to people, especially women, they're not, they just don't want to be by themselves. So
Right.
they will just settle for anything. And it's not like I'm getting into a relationship because I want it to last forever, or I want this thing to end in marriage, or I want to have a long term. It's just, I just don't want to be by myself.
Yeah.
I just, I'm lonely.
Yeah.
I'm just, all my friends are dating or whatever. And it's not like I want a lifelong love affair.
Yeah.
I want someone to love me till death do us part. I want someone,
I like what you just said in that, it's not about how long you're together, but it's the quality of that time. And the one thing we're going to talk about today, I think really helps make sure the quality of that time is moving in the direction that ultimately allows you to say, this is an enjoyable journey together, that we're actually enjoying, living our life in love together.
Which is extremely important because you'll find, because, some people will find themselves in relationships. I've talked to tons of women, hundreds of women. And it's like, I'm adventurous. My husband don't like to do this or that. And then the love just kind of like, they're like two ships passing in the night because they don't have nothing in common other than, you're a man, and let's date or whatever. And they find themselves, where one person loves to just like go out and be adventurous and go out and just, do things. Another person's home sitting reading the paper. He's an introvert or whatever. And it just, so I know. So
yeah, this actually does this particular, that's why I say it's like the glue, because this one thing does help with those like different personalities and different, one being a risk taker, one being more like, they're more of a kind of like, I just need everything to be. I'm
a hermit. I don't want to leave my house. And one is like, let's go roller skate,
bungee jump,
couples.
But this actually allows everybody to be different, but still you can kind of walk together and succeed. And that's why I say it's the glue. It's in my eyes of being one of the keys, because independently. None of the other things I think can really create a long-term, healthy, happy relationship, because what happens is you might say, you know what, we really have a great friendship, or we really do love each other, or we really do.
But those buts is what break you apart. And those buts is what make people stray. Emotionally, psychologically, and they could physically still be in a relationship, but mentally they are gone.
And even if you haven't left, you have accepted,
right.
I'm not going to be happy or fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, there's people watching who can probably, attest to knowing how frustrating it is to be with somebody and not be fulfilled. That kind of challenge. Have you ever had that where you just was with the individual, loved them, but honestly were not fulfilled, in terms of you just feel like, man, not just you're settling, but you're missing stuff. You're not just settling on stuff, but you're actually like, man, I'm missing I'm missing some things that I really want in my relationship. And that's why this one thing, and she done gave a piece of it away.
People didn't hear that.
No, they didn't. You didn't catch it. But because it's so simple, it's almost going to be like really, but it is. And we're going to talk about it now, because we may as well, since you borderline let it out. So the one thing that we believe you can do to make it last forever is a simple strategy, which is it has power in it, and that is to make plans together for a future. Now, I told you it's not going to be something you just go like, wow, but making plans together for a future versus making plans for the short term. How are we going to pay the bills? Is it in a second job? What are we going to do? But really making plans allows you to really, if you make a good plan, if you make a good business plan, you are going to look at the SWOT analysis, the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, the threats to the outcome that you're planning for. So if you're planning to be happy, and let's say, we're going to call it happy land, right? Okay. You just want to be happy. And you're saying, hey, I didn't get with you to be in a sad place, a miserable place, a disappointed place, an unfulfilled place. I'm with you to be in a happy place. Nothing just happens. you can get in together, and this is why people get together and they're all excited, they're in love, they're like, yeah, this is gonna work because maybe you got some things you get along with. More importantly, you got this passion for each other, and then all of a sudden, without having an objective that includes facing the opportunities, the threats, the things that can undermine your happiness, all of a sudden the relationship turns into something else that you never planned for. And if you've ever been in a relationship where it turned into something that you didn't plan for, this right here will be a way for you to almost kind of monitor that so you don't have to be caught off guard, because it hurts to get caught off guard when you give your heart, make yourself vulnerable, and then all of a sudden you're reacting to, man, this isn't working, and you feel in pain, and then you might feel resentment. I knew I shouldn't have, and all these other mixed feelings. Does that make sense?
That makes absolute sense. I think, but in this 21st century we live in, a lot of people, they're more concerned with the chemistry of when you first meet, and the nostalgia, like, ooh, they're not even thinking long term. Well, I have to, doing what you're saying, like, plan and just forecast how will this.
And here's what's crazy. Years. Here's what's crazy about that, because there is a saying that if you don't plan to succeed, you are literally planning to fail.
Yep.
And we will bring planning into business. We will bring planning even into family. In terms of plans for our kids. But we don't have a plan
for us.
So what's your love plan? What's the plan? Yeah, what's your love plan?
Talk about a vision.
Because if you have the plan, and again, this is different than a vision, because when you create a business plan, a aspect of it requires you to build a vision. But the entire plan is made up of all the different elements that you have to be able to monitor to see if I'm on track to meeting my plan, from the financial side, the financial projections, the goals and objectives, what us gonna do when it comes down to making certain choices, and everything. And under that is a vision and a mission and all that good stuff. But what I'm saying is, if you make a plan together being the operative word, because if one of you make the plan and tell the other person, here's our plan.
No, that's not going to work. That other person has to buy into, because it's our life, our future. Us both have to say so.
That's right. Us also have to be in it.
True.
You have to see yourself in the plan.
That's true.
I have to see myself in the plan. And so what has to happen is, a lot of times we're building our plan after the fact.
That's true.
It's almost like going into business, starting the business,
a lot of people do that,
and then realize I need a business plan.
Right.
And the problem with that is when you're doing it that way, you are always reacting instead of planning.
That's true.
And so when you're making a plan together, the in your mission, or we'll say in your vision of that, you may have something like, not just to be together, but to be happy and stay together, and or it might be not just to be in love, but to actually, really love being with each other,
or like the person also.
Yeah.
Because people throw "I love you" around, or love, but you can, we love our mother, we love our aunts, we love our sisters and brothers, but you want to not only love your partner, your spouse, you want to be in like with them too. And they got to be in the plan, that, hey, if we say our goal is to like each other in 10, 20, 30, 50 years, well, then what are the threats that can get in the way of liking each other? What's going to compromise your ability to say, you know what, I still enjoy being your friend. You know what I mean? And some of that requires us to think out loud, to say, going in, like going into our marriage, that, I had a very simple plan when I met my wife to invite her to buy into. And it got paraphrased into a statement that you hear all the time, which is me and you, and then everybody else, right? And under that is how much we should prioritize each other, how much we need to protect and insulate what we really want our life to look like when we are 95, holding hands, walking into some place to have, I'm off the sugars now. So we'll just say going into some place to have a fruit salad or something, right? So in that, there was a vision, and I found a picture of a really old couple
to say, and they were kissing like they meant it. It wasn't one of them like kiss, have a good day. It was like, you mean something to me. And they were like, they looked like Abraham and Sarah in the prison. They were old. But the intimacy just struck me. So I showed her that in the beginning to say, hey, this has got to be us. Now let's do what we can to work backwards from that, which is what a plan does. It says, this is the end result. I want to succeed in business. I want to succeed. I want to get my finances. I want to do this. But now, how do we work backwards to get there? How do we get to that place? So making a plan together requires you first to decide, what do you want your relationship to look like in 30, 20, 50 years? Yeah. That is so because good. if you say, you know what, like, you know, for us, real talk, part of it was us being able to have a healthy sex life. To say, you know what, we still want to have
that might be too real for somebody.
No, like, I think most people, you can't turn the TV on, forget a show, a TV commercial now. It's in the commercials. It's in cartoons. That's my point. That ain't, you know, maybe 30 years ago, that's too real. You go, oh, did he say sex? Now it's like, what kind? With what kind of people? How many? It ain't even that serious. If what I'm saying is if we plan, which we did, to say we want a healthy sex life, and we probably need to talk more about sex. Our views probably go skyrocketing. We're getting ready on live to have this conversation about sex. Right. So what I'm saying is when we plan to say we want to have sex and have a healthy sex life and still be in what other people might say, oh man, they 80 and they still, you know, getting it in, which I was at a conference for the American Association for Christian Counselors. And there was an amazing couple doing a presentation on sex. And the theme was really wrapped around how the woman's body changes after a certain age. And they were in their 80s. They were in their 80s and they were like, yeah, and we still have sex. We have a healthy sex life. And
white top, just like.
And I think they said that they do it at least 3 times a week. And the whole, it was probably like maybe about 300 of us in this particular workshop. And they were like, yeah, about 3 times. And there's so many people, I could hear them behind me and stuff going, we don't even do it 3 times a month.
Like,
we don't,
they look so old.
Yeah. And so, but I think you have to be intentional about that. And that's to their credit, neither one of them was tremendously obese. No. Neither one of them was where, you know, in a place where, yeah, but they're heavy, you know, sex therapists. My point is, if I'm planning to be that active, then I need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves.
Right.
Because again, if you say I'm planning to succeed in business, you also have to say, I'm going to make sure I get training, and I'm going to make sure I get the proper mentoring, and I'm going to make sure that I position myself to. You can't just simply say, we're going to have sex when we're 90, while you just are like, you know, tremendously not taking care of yourself. And your body will say, I know what you want in your heart, but your physical heart will say, you know, us can't do it. You know, you basically eating yourself out of that particular. So you do have to start making healthy choices, just like in a business plan. You say, I'm going to start making good, you know, fiscal choices, good hiring choices. In the relationship, you have to say, I'm going to make good personal choices. I'm going to make good personal choices. You know, I do regular checkups. I do all the blood works, every single thing that's required in every phase of my life. You know, all since pretty much, because my dad died when I was like 13. So when that happened, it just made me just like, man, he died so young. So me and my brother always were more conscious. And in the times I slid out and slid into being overweight and slid out and got away from really focused, it's temporary, because the plan is you got to be healthy when you get there versus, okay, it's just who I am.
But as far as the couple planning for their future together and just, you know.
But part of it is if one person dies early, together don't happen. That's true. And that's all I'm trying to say is everybody has to do their part to take care of themselves so we can have us later. And me being widow in a sudden way, not because of health reasons, but she died the day before my birthday, getting my gifts. I understand how precious life is. And all I'm saying is that if we're taking care of ourselves, that's got to be part of the plan. You know, so am I saying you got to be a supermodel? No. Am I saying you got to have a 6-pack? No. What I'm saying is you got to include kind of long-term considerations in how you handle your health. You know, being on top of it, taking good care, doing your best, because sometimes that's all you can do is your best. And that's just got to be enough. So all I'm saying is, in the planning is understanding that whatever our goal is, you know, like ours isn't just to have sex when we're in our 90s, but it's also to still be each other's best friend. So because part of our plan is to be each other's best friend, we've got to make sure that when we find ourselves sliding into moments that things are interrupting our friendship, which ultimately therefore affects our intimacy. And
absolutely work on your EI, your emotional intelligence, because if you can't sort through when you're having a bad day, when you're just, because sometimes it's not even about your partner, it's about you. If you can't sort through your EI, your emotional intelligence, to make sure that you are good and you can resolve things, how are you going to resolve a conflict with you and your mate? Say, okay, I still like you. Yeah, I love you, but I still like you. You're my best friend, and let's plan for our future, you know.
Well, in the spirit of that, if I'm trying to work through making sure I like myself, then I'm also learning how to do things that don't come natural, like forgive. If you can't start forgiving and letting go, and you choose to hold on to what's toxic, you should do it saying, I know this will kill my future happiness. You should, everything you hold on and harbor, everything that you say, well, you don't understand what they did. Okay, I don't. I wasn't there. But you're deciding to stay with this person. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy that if you hold it and you are toxic and it's eating and killing you inside where you are no longer you, you will not have a happy outcome. Oh, no. That's the only part. Now, if you decide to let it go and forgive, and you are doing that for somebody who doesn't really see the reason to change, that's a whole nother problem. Holler at me for counseling for that. But if you are holding stuff that you just are resenting and burying, and it will come out in little weird ways, you know. I don't want to be, you know, crass, so I'm gonna just pivot for a second, because I started to say a crass example of how it could just seep out and it won't smell good, but nobody heard it. And all I'm saying is, if you are realizing that, you know what, I gotta make sure I gotta get me together, because if I don't make it, we don't make it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Cool.
I think that's good. But also, I think also, you know, in planning for your future together, a lot of people, you know, it's not about, because the kids will grow up, the kids will leave the house, the kids will go to college, and then at the end of the day, you have to, like, okay, what are we doing? So I think, you know, I know we talked about the, you know, this is not really the vision board, but I really think if you do, people are visual, most people are visual, and I think if you see something written down or posted, that it reminds you. I
agree. I just want what I want in the difference of a plan versus a vision is a plan includes a vision only includes a vision.
So tell people, how do they write a plan for their future, or how do they plan for the couple? Well, a young couple may be watching. They don't
I think it's more of a verbal contract.
Okay.
You know, everything I reference is what we said, not that we wrote down. No, that's cool. But I'm not talking about the vision board. I'm talking about the plans, that everything I just outlined were things that were communicated, and they were oral agreements that we said, okay, yeah, we want to be happy when we're, you know, 90. We want to be having sex in our 90s. We want to be, you know, I was there. Was you there for those conversations? I just want to make sure you were there. Were you there? Well, you know, I'm going into 90s by faith now. But all I'm saying is it's about sitting down and talking with each other to say, hey, here's what I'd like to dream. This is how I like the plan should be part of the dream. Because, you know, when you're doing a business plan, you're supposed to aim high. You're not supposed to say, I expect to make $8,000 in the next 8 years. You're supposed to be able to say, you know, I'm shooting for the moon, and if I hit these metrics, we're just going to succeed. And it should look like oral conversation. Like, you know, what do you want us to look like in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years? You know, what do you want our finances to look like? You know, we have oral agreements about everything that I'm talking about, where we both agree how we want our life to look.
And we often revisit again to go. So, you know, that's a good thing, though.
Yeah. And revisiting it is absolutely important. Yeah. So all I'm saying is, I think the power in a plan will, of course, include a vision. It will include a mission, but it will also take the time to look at what can get in the way. of us having that? What can make this less likely for us to succeed?
Right.
Is it having the in-laws or having your mom or my mom in our conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, you know, how we handle our business in the public world, in social media, or to our friends? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When you get over it, your best friend is still mad at your mate type of stuff.
You definitely have to keep your family out your business
Mm-hmm.
and your friends, because you ain't married your friends, you ain't married your family, or you know, you're not in a relationship with them. So that's number one. I mean, that's like you can't.
I agree. So that's the one thing
mm-hmm.
that we believe you can do to make it last forever,
mm-hmm.
by just basically dreaming of making a lifetime commitment,
right.
and then creating a plan around what it's going to take to have that life
mm-hmm.
commitment. So
that's good.
Yeah. We are definitely glad. Listen, we've got some really cool things coming up, especially
mm-hmm.
for couples who want to do things in small groups,
mm-hmm.
and couples who are looking to connect with other couples. So make sure you follow our page. Make sure, if you have not joined our mailing list, shoot us an email. It's go to our website, loveandhappiness.tv. I don't even know if I have that, or hit us through social.
mm-hmm.
You know, follow our social channels or whatever. And I'm not sure what this is. Yeah, don't do the Twitter. That's them, because I'm like, I barely look at our Twitter account. I won't lie to you. But you can access us on Twitter, and when it's all said and done, I will. But if you just, you know, kind of hit us through our social channels as well and say, look, I want to know what y'all got coming for couples.
mm-hmm.
We're going to create something really cool that those who are in the loop first will benefit tremendously from, and you'll be able to enjoy and gather with, you know, other couples in ways that are really, really cool. So
mm-hmm.
We're excited, just probably a few weeks away from really pulling the curtain back and showing you what, you know, what's what.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're done.
Until next week.
Till next week.
Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.